There is a stage at the beginning of every great life where you look completely delusional to everyone around you. That is just how it works. Before people call you successful, they usually call you unrealistic at first. Just think about it. Think about the athlete training obsessively before they've ever won anything. Think about the creator uploading videos that barely get any views. At the beginning, every extraordinary path looks irrational, and that is exactly why most people never pursue one, because they are waiting for evidence before they allow themselves to believe in themselves. But sometimes belief has to come first. Sometimes you have to move before your life gives you proof. And honestly, that feels terrifying, because the moment we are children, most of us are conditioned to stay inside the boundaries of what seems realistic. The minute you start saying what you want to become, and people immediately start measuring your dreams against probability, not possibility, probability. They start saying stuff like, how many people actually make it? What is the backup plan? Be careful, be realistic. And after hearing things like that for years, something dangerous starts happening. You slowly disconnect from your own ambition. You stop imagining freely. You stop trusting your instincts. You stop taking yourself seriously. And eventually, you build an identity around limitation instead of possibility. That is why so many people secretly admire bold individuals. Not because bold people are fearless, but because they are willing to believe in something before reality confirms it. Most people are not lacking talent. They are lacking permission. They are lacking permission to fully believe that their life could actually become something bigger than what they currently see. And maybe that sounds rational, and maybe it sounds delusional, but every meaningful transformation starts there. It starts in that belief that there is something better on the other side. Because if your future only depended on what is currently visible, then your life can never expand beyond your present circumstances. At some point, you need the courage to believe the possibilities that do not yet exist physically. And no, this does not mean sitting around fantasizing all day. That is where people misunderstand this entire idea. Delusion without action is just escapism. Real belief changes behavior. Real belief makes you wake up earlier. Real belief makes you practice longer. Real belief makes you continue when the results are invisible. Real belief changes the standards you hold yourself to. Because when somebody genuinely believes that they are capable of more, they stop moving through life casually. Their actions begin matching the future they keep seeing in their head. That is the part most people do not see. Everybody loves confidence once it produces results, but nobody respects it in the beginning. In the beginning, confidence looks embarrassing. It looks like posting content to nobody. It looks like going to the gym while you don't even know what you are doing. It looks like trying again after you have failed publicly. It looks like saying I can do this while your current reality suggests otherwise. Very few people sustain belief long enough for their lives to actually change. And that is because the early stages of transformation are really painful sometimes. You are carrying a vision that your current life does not yet reflect. And during that stage, doubt becomes loud. You find yourself comparing yourself to other people constantly. You find yourself looking at the people ahead of you, and you wonder if you started too late. You have moments where your dreams feel almost ridiculous. And on some days, your brain makes very convincing arguments of why you should quit. But you have to understand that all that stuff is normal. Human beings naturally seek certainty, but growth has never been built on certainty. Nobody starts with undeniable proof that what they are doing will work. Proof is usually the reward you get for doing the work. So if you really want to change your life, you must believe that this will work like your life depends on it. You must be going long enough for reality to finally catch up to the vision that is in your head. And while you're on the quest, do not spend time around people who constantly shrink themselves, because if you hang around those people, eventually something unfortunate will happen to you. You will shrink yourself too. You'll start being afraid of talking about your dreams. You'll start becoming too afraid of sounding too ambitious. If everybody around you treats greatness like something reserved for other people, eventually parts of you start believing that nonsense too. Changing your life requires that you change what you normalize. You have to change the conversations you listen to. You have to change the content you consume. You have to change the way you speak to yourself internally. While all these changes are taking place, you must also be putting on the work, because identity is not built through one motivational content, it's built through repetition. It's built through the thoughts you repeat, it's built through the actions you repeat, it's built through the risks you repeat, and it's also built through the standards you repeat. That is how you slowly change. And that is why being realistic all the time can quietly destroy people. Not because realism is evil, but because many people use realism to protect themselves from disappointment. If they never fully try, they never have to confront the failure fully. So they stay in the middle, not fully committed, not fully alive, not fully honest about what they actually want. And years later, that avoidance becomes regret. That is the real tragedy, not the failure, but the regret. The real tragedy is looking back at your life and knowing that fear made too many decisions for you. It's knowing that you abandoned ideas before they had time to grow. It's knowing that you spent years asking for permission instead of building conviction. And what is really fucked up about all this is that the people who started you, they often change their minds after the results appear. Suddenly now the dream makes sense. Suddenly the risk looks intelligent. Suddenly the belief looks inspiring. But they do not see the lonely years that came before that. They do not see the uncertainty. They do not see the embarrassment. They do not see the invisible work. They do not see the nights where you questioned yourself completely. But I guess that is the hidden price of becoming somebody different. I guess that is the hidden price of becoming exceptional. So do you see now why you have to be delusional? Because without the delusion, the odds of making it, they are pretty small. So give into the delusion and watch your life change.